Hi, I'm Chris Stovall, founder and CEO of Tech Plus Consulting. We help Bay Area small businesses manage, maintain, and leverage their technology so that they can focus on what they do best and not on their computer problems. In this video, I am going to show you some real world how to develop in Salesforce, how to build something kind of cool. So we are an IT services company, and one of the things that we do is every week we go through and we do patches and updates for our clients' servers and workstations. And we do this in two steps. So first of all, patches will come down from Microsoft on Patch Tuesday, on Tuesdays. On Wednesday, we'll take a look at those. We'll pick usually one or two systems that on a clients that they know are kind of test systems. Usually they'll appoint a person like an office manager that we'll test it on, and we'll do the patches on their system on the Wednesday, and then on Thursday nights we roll out those patches to all of the systems, and we do the restarts and all that kind of stuff. And up until this point, we've been doing this kind of manually. Like we'll create a case and we'll note this on the case, or we'll just do it and we'll kind of note it down. We haven't really done anything super official, and what I'd like to be able to do is actually pull reports for my customers and be able to go in and see, which systems have been patched and if there's been problems, just be able to get some kind of dashboards and some metrics to kind of what's going on. To give you an example, let me just show you a dashboard in my Salesforce. So this is Tech Plus. This is on our screen that rotates in our office. And so it's got all of our cases and what the status is, if they're waiting on a customer or a vendor, or if they're new cases we haven't touched, or so on and so forth. And then we log things like how many calls or activities, emails, etc. did we log into our system. So you can see yesterday I did 34 and K2 did 5. So I'm definitely a power user of Salesforce. And then I also track kind of sales related stuff, which yesterday didn't do too much, but this week we've done 5 items. So some kind of sales lead generation type stuff. So what I'd like to be able to do is in my main company dashboard here, I'd like to also be able to have a report of which of our customers have been patched, which ones are we waiting on, that kind of thing. So I am going to develop this live. I've not really prepped for this. I just downloaded the screen capture software, and I'm going to do it just to show you how simple and easy and amazing it is to develop things like this in Salesforce. Then you can go out and do it yourself. A lot of competitors of mine do not see the value in it because Salesforce is very expensive, but it is the most powerful, amazing CRM out there, and you can do ever so much. This is just a small scratch of the surface. So what we're going to do is build a patch manager. So I want to be able to look at one of our accounts. So like, I don't know, here's St. George Spirits, and I want to be able to scroll down and have a little section like I do with this backup manager that I built a couple weeks ago. So to get started with that, let's go over to Setup. And I'm going to go to Build, and I'm going to create an objects. So we'll go New Custom Object. And we're going to call this the Patch Manager. So let's see. The plural label is the one that goes on the tab. So I want to say Patch Manager on the tab. And on the label, which is kind of like the button name, I'm just going to call it Patch. Actually, you know what? We'll call it, maybe System Patch. Actually, I'll just call it Patch. Keep it simple. All right, so there is our object name. So this is an object. Do each week. All right. So for that, we're also going to choose here for the type, we're going to do an auto number. What we'll do here is we're going to make it a P system. So what this is going to do is it's going to, every time we create one of these patches, it's going to create a new object like that, and we'll start this at 1. You'll see what I mean in a moment. We want to make sure that we allow reports, activities, and we're going to track the system. This one is going to be automatically developed, and afterwards I want to launch the new tab wizard. So we'll go save. Okay, so this is going to come up now to add, the tab wizard just adds it into the top, so it's going to stick it up along here. So let's choose a style. So for a patch, let's see, let's find something interesting. Hot air balloon, keys, laptop, ooh, people do it. Ooh, radar dish. There's so many little exciting things. Ooh, a treasure chest. I'm going to choose a little red cross since it's kind of a little patch. Okay, so that looks good. So we'll save that. And we'll turn this on for everyone. So we'll click next and click save. So now we have Patch Manager up here, which is great, but it doesn't do anything. So this is the view where we make it do stuff. So we have to add some fields. So the first field we got to add is the accounts field. So what that means is that on each one of our clients' accounts, I want to see a box that comes up attaching these patches to the client. I don't want it per person because we're not really doing individuals. We're doing computer patches for the company, you know, each week. So we just want to select that company name. So this is going to be a lookup field. So lookup relationship, and we'll hit next. And it's going to be related to the account. We could actually also relate it to cases. You could do lots of other different things, but in this case, we're just going to do an account. So, field name, account, that should be fine for now. We can always change this up later. And go next. And we'll go save a new. So we may as well put on the next field. Okay. So right now, just to show you, our patch manager looks like this. New patch. And it says, okay, who's the account? And we can go and select the customer. So I don't know, 365 data centers. And we can save. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically create a patch number, P001. And when we click on this 365 data centers where we're looking at the account, on the bottom you can see the latest patch, and we can actually go in and we can customize this so that it sorts these by date, so that way it'll show what the latest patch is, and then you can see when you look at the customer what the most recent one is. These guys I think are a vendor, so they're, or a prospect, so we haven't done anything on them. But anyway, so back over to our new fields. So let me see, the first one we're going to want to do is I want to know, well, is the patch completed, yes or no, true or false? So let's do a checkbox. And we'll just call it patch completed. Or patches, since it is more than one. And by default it is unchecked, and we'll put a little description. Check this if you have done the patches for this client. And the help text, I'm going to make it do the same. So we're going to add them to everything, and we'll save a new. So the next thing I'm going to want is the date and time. When did we actually do this? So we'll call this date/time of patch. Patches. I guess it'd be ES. Anyway, whatever. Alright. Select when. Oh yeah, it is a yes. Okay. As you can see, I am doing this live without practicing. Probably not the best. Alright. And in this case, well, I don't want to make this required. For a default field, what we're going to do is we're going to use a formula. So we're going to go, it's now. And what that will do is it'll automatically default put in the date and time. So when you go and create a new one of these, so in this case this like record, when you select it, once you open this field, it'll pop up and it'll put in date and time for it. It makes it nice and simple to save. And you can see our patch complete button. So it's coming along. So the next thing I can think of that we want to do with the patches, so we have, okay, the date and time, and we have like, is it completed, yes or no? Well, what is the status of those patches? So for that, let's do a pick list. We're just going to do a single select. We don't need to select multiple statuses. Patch status. And we'll put in some values here. So I actually I wrote them ahead of time. I just copied them from another one. So I've kind of come up with either we haven't started it, we've scheduled it, so we've used our remote management software to say apply these patches at 10 p.m. tonight, or it's in progress. Maybe we've patched some but not others. We've completed it, meaning we've set all those patches and we've installed it, and then we've completed it 100%, meaning we've gone in, we've verified it the next day, ran a report to show, yes, all of those patches are successfully installed, the system's restarted, everything is good, etc., etc. So I want to use the first value as the default, so not yet started, to default, and description, let us know where you are. Transmissions. Okay. All right, so we got that. Then we're going to go and ask a couple questions with the thing. So for that, I'm just going to use some the check boxes, like just true or false statement. So, did any patches fail? That's the first thing I want to know. And default, I guess we'll leave it unchecked. I don't think I'll put a help test because that's pretty self-explanatory. The next session I want to know is, did you verify the patches? Check this. So a nice little help tip there. And then lastly, I guess we'll have a box is, well, is it patching complete? And whenever I do this, I like to ask this in two ways. So I'm going to ask, is it completed? Because sometimes you'll get like one system that doesn't run and it's not quite perfect, but we're like 95% of the way there. So I kind of have that, the patching complete, and then I have what I like to call the kind of like oath. So I do this a lot with backups. I'll say like, did you check the backups and verify them and all that? Or did you, or are you willing to sign off on it? Like 100% oath. You would wager a large sum of money, like 6 months worth of wages, that, yeah, 100% this backup is done. that's the same thing I'm going to be doing here. So I'm going to call this the patching oath. Are you So there's my little help text with my oath. And then, of course, we need to have some notes. So we need a nice big text area long. We can actually do rich text. We wanted to bold things and all that. I'm actually okay with just with plain text. And we'll call this the patch notes. And while we have kind of that section of notes, I actually wouldn't mind adding another area. Because we have, okay, which ones did not work. So we'll call it the patch failure notes. So we'll go if any patches did not The other kind of lookup field that I'll probably end up doing is I won't do it in this video, but what I can do is we have an asset management object that I built out with all of our customers' assets, so all their computers, servers, etc. What I'll actually do is create a field so that if an if a patch does not work, you can select from there which machine it was that didn't work. But I'm going to leave that one for a little bit later. Same thing with some of the validation rules. There's a lot of cool reporting and other things we can do there to make sure all of that. But for now, I'm going to leave that. I actually want to do another date and time, which is the date verified, because that's a huge thing is that people often miss. You know, it's easy. It's easy to let something like that slip. So I actually wouldn't mind my report seeing, okay, when did you do the patches and when did you go in the next day, what time, and check them. So, oops, a meeting request coming up. All right, so and in this case, I'm not going to put a default value in here. Okay. So save, and let's take a look in here. All right, so those are all our fields so far. I want to make some field dependencies. which, just to kind of clear things up, so what I want to know first is, okay, well, if patches are completed, then this is going to verify the patch status. Let's see if I did this right. So if you have not, if you've unchecked it, then that means that either the patches are not yet started, they're scheduled, or they're in progress. However, if you have said that the patches are complete, well, it's going to be either they're 100% verified or they're verified. I'm actually going to go and just say that you could only select complete unverified. So let me show you what this means. So this means that if you check that patches, if you don't have it checked, you can say they're not yet started, which is the default value, they're scheduled, or they're in progress. If you check this, now you can go and say, oh, well, they're complete unverified. So let's save that. And now here where it's really going to make sense is our patches verified. And we're going to I may have to go back and do that. Patches completed. No. Oh, okay, let me cancel that. Now let me see what is going on. Okay, so date and time of patches. Patches verified. Did they fail? Did you verify? Alright, so this is patch status. Controlling field patches completed. Dependent patch status. So I think I actually need to delete this and switch these the other way around and make the other one a controlling field. So let's try this again. Oh. I have two of these, patching complete and patches completed. Let's see what this is. Okay, so if it's complete, all right, well, let's just change this a little bit. So if it's unchecked, it's those, and if it's complete, then it is those. Now let's try going, are you 100% sure? Oh, it doesn't let me. Okay. I may have to do some playing around with that offline. Alright, well, let's go back to our custom object. And let's take a look at what it looks like. So, if we edit this now, here's our field. So we have our account. Was it completed, yes or no? What was the time that the patches were completed? Not yet started. Did any patches fail? Yes, no. Did you verify those patches? Ah, and patching complete. Okay, yeah, that's what I did. Alright, I made two of these, so I gotta go through and remove one of those. The idea being is that when they check that it's complete, it's going to change the values so that they're going to select one or the other. And then what I'd like to have happen is when they check, are you 100% sure, it'll only let you select complete 100% verified. So just like adding a couple steps to to make sure like that, okay, yes, they really did it. Because it's often, you're rushing through and you have a million tasks, and patching is really important. We don't want to have something missed. So that's the same thing where I'm going to have that they go and they put in the date and time. Well, when did they verify it the next day? And I can pull a report that says, okay, if they ran the patches, if the time between the verification and running them is the same, well, that's a little, maybe they didn't really do it the next day. Because I want to be able to see that they're running the patches Thursday night, Friday morning they're verifying. So I can create some triggers so that if that's not happening, it can bring it to my attention. Then we have our notes field. So they would put in, yes, they successfully ran the patches, or, whatever else relating to that. And then they would put in the failure notes. And what that looks like on a case, so let's go over to an account. Actually, before I do that, why don't we customize this a little? So let's go back over to our setup field, and let's just edit the page layout, maybe make it look a little nicer. Alright, so let's add a new section. And we'll go nice 2-column section. And then we can put our notes in. So then we can put our notes in here, and we can put our failure notes on this side. And let's add our did they fail just above the failures. And we'll add our question marks. All right. Now let's put our oath over there. All right, so the time of the patches, then we have our status, and then we have is it complete, which I'm going to go and get rid of that field. So I'll get rid of this one. I'm sure going to put this over here. All right, so let's quickly save that. Let's delete that one that I made by mistake. All right, so now let's go on and let's make a new one. So let's look at an account. 365 data centers. There's our contact there, whatever else, and let's go and go ahead and make a new patch. So it's going to put a new patch. It pre-fills the account. It pre-fills the date and time. We're not yet started. And let's say I went ahead and did it. So I'm going to go ahead and say scheduled for tonight. And save that. Then what I can do is I can create a task for myself on here so that the next day I check that yes, it's going to go ahead and work. And that'll show up in my regular tasks. Now you'll notice, actually there's something missing here that I forgot. And that is there's no chatter field. And chatter would be really nice to have. We use chatter for everything because then we can engage each other and comment each other on this stuff. So what I want to do, I'm going to actually go back and see if I remember where this is. I think it's under feed tracking. Yes, it is. All right, so where it's find our patch, and let's enable it. And I want it to post to chatter, if anything. I don't really care when you did it, but I care if it failed and why it failed And I like to see the patch notes, and I like to see when... Actually, I'm going to put a bunch of these in. I can always go and take them off if I change my mind kind of thing. So, like in this case, I like to know, okay, well, when did you verify it? Actually, no, I'm going to put a bunch of these things on here. Alright. And then as we actually see it in the chatter field, we can go in and test it. Alrighty, so now this same field that we are working on now has a chatter. So I can engage my team and say at, Mr. Reamer, can you take over the patching? And if I go ahead and share this, he would get the notification on his phone, and he would get the email, and he can reply to the email, so on and so forth. So I'm not going to do that just because that's going to annoy him. But you can see we can go ahead and we can create it. And we can also go ahead and upload. So we can drag an upload of, say, a remote desktop screen share. Like we use corporate version of TeamViewer, and you can go in and you can take screenshot. So I could take the screenshot to show, yes, the patch has worked, or hey, here's the error, or whatever else, that I could actually chatter that right on this patch record. And then when you go back in the next day and you're looking at that account, you can see the date and time when the patch happened. You can see any of the errors. You can see the tasks. Again, we're going to go and we'll have to change up that view so that it sorts by due date. Actually, let's, I believe we can do that. Pretty simpler if we edit the page on the account. Here we go. So we can now go and we want to know the date and time of the patches, and we want to know, are they verified, and we want to know, did any patches fail. And we want to know what other things. I guess the patch status would be good. Oh, and I want to know who did the patching. So let's go and say owner alias. And I actually don't really, well, I guess we'll leave the patch. Yeah, we'll have the patch name there. All right, so date and time. So I guess the first thing I want to know is what's the status of the patches. Then I want to know, are they verified? And I want to know... Actually, if I ask, are they complete, that's a little redundant. Well, I'm going to put that on there anyway. I guess that is a little bit redundant, I guess, if I have the status of the patches. But I actually kind of like that because I then just know, okay, is it done? Yes, no. Did any fail? Yes, no. And then, like the date and time of when the patches were done. When the patches were verified. So we'll go and we'll put that kind of last of what time they were verified. I actually want the name first. So alright, let's go like that. Let's see what it looks like. So now if we look at 365 data centers, now we can see, okay, here's the date and time of the status. This one there was no status, so there's that one not yet started. Did any patches fail? Well, it looks like no. Chris Stovall's the one who did it, but they're not verified. And so now I can go and I can click in and go, oh wait, they're not verified. What's going on? Oh, I see there's some tasks still related on here. Let's say I went ahead and I did verify it. Then it's completed, and we'll say it's 100% verified. Did any patches fail? We'll go no, and we'll go, we did it at, let's put it in the future, 3:15, we verified those patches. Now when we click on that account, we can now see that status. And if you notice on the chatter field of that item, it actually auto-posted, at this time I changed all these things. So there's a nice little trail, and that'll show up in your chatter feeds elsewhere. So that's basically it. In 35 minutes, we went from a concept that was completely in my head I want to be able to track these patches and everything else. And I had a couple quick notes I had jotted down about 5 minutes before I started recording this, but we built it. That's how simple it is to develop in Salesforce, and that's why I believe in it so much. It's really a really awesome tool, and there's so much more I could talk about because it's the reporting and the dashboards that are so cool, because I can automate reports so that every time the patch has been verified, it could send out automatically an email to the contact on our customer case that would say, hey, so-and-so, just so you know, Chris Stovall did your patching. He did it last night. Here are the notes. Here's what failed. Here's what didn't. I could send out so that goes to the manager of the account. I could create workflows around it. There's just a ton of different things, and there's automations. I could do. Oh, I'm almost overwhelmed at all of the different cool things that we could connect it to. But it's kind of like anything and everything connects. One of my favorite views, just to quickly summarize that before I go, is when you look under Create and Objects, you can go into this schemation that shows just how connected everything is in your Salesforce. So you can go in and see, okay, like here's our custom asset where we track the MAC address of the product, who makes the product, all of that kind of stuff, and then who makes the product goes to an account, and all of the information is interconnected in this web of all the different things. And it is really, really cool and powerful as you start building out your Salesforce, just to see how all of this stuff pieces together. So that is it for me. Again, I'm Chris Stovall at Tech Plus Consulting, and we help small businesses in the Bay Area with their technology. We'd love to have you as a client, or to maybe help you out with some Salesforce stuff. We do a little bit of basic Salesforce consulting on the side. It's it's fun. Thanks so much, guys.